Assalamu alaikum everyone. I hope you are doing fine and everybody's connected. I have already waited for at least 10 to 15 minutes so that there is no ambiguity. However, if you keep on disconnecting or if there is an internet issue, that's all right. We can talk about it later. Let's focus on uh, the topic that we need to cover today. As you know, your end term is approaching and you need to be prepared for it. And do not worry if there is distortion as well at your end. Sometimes the internet or the network is not so strong and you won't be able to listen to me maybe somehow clearly. That's okay. This is being recorded and the recording will be made available to you, so you can definitely catch up any point that is missed due to these reasons. Now, so today we are going to talk about how to express appreciation, admiration, pleasure, and gratitude. If you remember in the beginning of the semester, in the first few classes, I gave you some tasks, verbal tasks, in which you were supposed to come up with expressing your opinion by using expressive uh, phrases and sentences. Today, we'll be talking about how to express appreciation, admiration, pleasure, and gratitude. In order to understand that how and in what manner or in how many different ways we can utilize in order to say thank you to certain people, we need to understand how and why it is important. Expressing appreciation is probably the most powerful and rewarding human need. Expressing thanks, appreciation, gratitude is the key to building satisfied relationship with people around you. Express appreciation, admiration, pleasure, and gratitude whenever you think it is due. As a student of environmental sciences and GSIS and other degrees, you need to be able to communicate with other people, and then, of course, at certain points in your academic and professional life, you will be asked to admire and appreciate certain people. So, for that matter, you need to know how to express yourself. Now, expressing all these things are positive interactions that are the heart of good relationship between parents, couples, siblings, and workers in successful businesses. Different researchers have proved that children who are most intelligent, self-confident, and flexible had experienced more appreciation and encouragement and positive attitude at home and school than negative attitude from their parents and teachers. Appreciation generates self esteem in both children and, of course, the other people. Now, this is an exercise I usually ask students to do it. So, let's try. Um, Write down 5 happiest events in your life that you are really appreciative and you admire in your life. Now, go ahead, you have 5 minutes. Just write one. Let's cut to the chase. I want you to write one happiest event of your life in the chat box so that I know that you have understood. So I'm waiting. Go ahead. Write one sentence explaining the happiest event of your life. All right, so moving forward, this is a text. a conversation between two people. They are trying to appreciate. A mother is there and she's expressing her appreciation towards her son, Saad. Mother, really, Saad, you have made me so happy today. You have cleaned your room and also switched off all the lights before leaving for school. Well, Ammi, it is my pleasure. I suddenly realize you do so much work and I should help you a little. And of course, switching off unnecessary lights will save energy and reduce our electricity bills. Mother, well, thank you. I really appreciate your help. Now, the expressions that are actually highlighting appreciation is it's my pleasure. You have made me so happy today. Thank you. Right? And appreciate your help, etc. All these expressions, they are telling you that uh, language is being used in order to appreciate certain actions. Now, notice how the speaker expressed their appreciation in the dialogue. You have made me so happy today, it's my pleasure, and etc. Now, this is another situation in which Mr. and Mrs. Rahman stayed for the weekend at their friends called Mr. and Mrs. Ahmed's, and they live in Murray. Now, let's look at the conversation and how they express gratitude, right? Mr. Rahman, thank you all the comfort and hospitality. You have enjoyed every moment of our stay with you, Mrs. Ahmed. Please do not mention it's pleasure to have you both over here, Mrs. Rahman. And thank you for the nice gift. I really appreciate your thoughtfulness. Not at all. After all, we are friends and it is such a joy to spend some time together. So you see the points that I've highlighted, they are telling us that gratitude is being shown over here. Then we have another exercise. How would you express thanks in the following situation? Someone just gave you a gift hamper on your birthday. You can simply say, thank you so much. I really appreciate these gifts as they are going to help me do etc etc. Then the second situation could be someone just sent you a basket full of flowers. So the answer could be that I am really thankful for the beautiful flowers that you have sent. So this is how you're going to express thanks in such situations. Now, this is another exercise. Look around yourself and notice and think about the simplest pleasures of life. In this exercise, we'll try to understand how to express our appreciation, admiration, and gratitude in three different parts. Now, let's read the example given in point number one and then fill in the chart writing. The reason or the cause of your happiness. The cause of तीन sections यहाँ पे बने हुए हैं. As you can see, there are three sections. So in these three sections, we are going to fill according to this, right? When I saw flowers in the garden, I felt so grateful to God because the flowers reminded me of all the beautiful things God has created. So you see, in the first column, you express the cause of or the reason of that gratitude. Then you mention how you feel by mentioning such expressions. And then why did you feel it? Then you give the reason regarding it. So this is how you can fill this up for these other two reasons as well. Then we have exercise number 5. Maliha and her guests are sitting at the dinner table. Her guests are appreciating her cooking skills. Below is given an incomplete dialogue. Now let's complete it by writing appropriate expressions of appreciation. Very good, excellent, and superb. Now this conversation has to be completed by adding these expressions over here. Maliha. Bushra, would you like another piece of roast mutton? Bushra, thanks, please. This is so delicious mutton roast. I would not say no to a second helping. Maliha, what about you, Romana? So Romana answers, very good. Maliha, and this chutney is even better, it's homemade. Then Bushra answers, excellent. And then Maliha says, you must also try this chicken korma and tell me how it tastes. So this is how you're going to fill this exercise. Then they have given one text that you can read yourself. After reading this text, there are certain expressions of admiration and appreciation that you have to exhibit, and you can solve this exercise. And if you find any difficulty, you can definitely ask me in the question. The next topic that is important that we need to do is direct indirect speech, right? Now, what is direct indirect speech? You have been doing it for a long time. Let's have a quick review of how to do it. Indirect speech is also referred to as reported speech. It refers to a sentence reporting what someone has said. Many times in English, we want to tell someone what someone has said. For example, the teacher said there will be a test tomorrow, right? This is an example of direct or quoted speech. You must have also noticed that this statement is given in inverted commas. Here you can see the commas, the inverted commas, and they are quoting the speech given by the teacher, and somebody else is saying it indirectly. But when we want to tell someone or report to someone what the teacher has said, the same sentence will then become reported or indirect speech. The teacher told us that there would be a test tomorrow. Now let's have a look at how these changes take place in direct and indirect or reported sentences. When changing from direct to indirect or reported speech, several changes occurs. I repeat, when we change from the direct towards the indirect speech, there are several changes they take place. Here are some basic rules which will help you learn these changes, right? Quotation marks and commas are removed. The word that is usually included, right? The subject pronoun is changed and the tense of the verb is changed. So these are four basic rules that you need to remember when you change from direct to indirect. Now these are the examples. Rosie said, I am happy. Indirect is Rosie said that she was happy. Now look at it. The first one, the first rule is taking out the quotation marks and the commas are removed. Both of these punctuation marks have been removed in indirect. The word that is given, so that has been written in indirect speech. The subject pronoun is changed, right? Rosie said, I am happy. The personal pronoun I was used, but when we changed it into the indirect, we used the possessive pronoun she, referring to Rosie. So यहाँ पर we had present tense I am happy. However, the verb is changed over here. She was happy, right? So pronoun I became she. Helping verb am in simple present in changed into simple past tense verb was. That is added. Comma is removed and quotation marks are removed. So this is the most basic way of changing direct into indirect. And now these are some examples given over here, and they are asking us to change them into indirect. They have solved one example over here. Present continuous changes into past continuous. Shima said, comma, Talha is studying. Shima said that Talha was studying. So same rules apply. How that has been added, commas and inverted commas have been taken out, and is has changed into was. Then present perfect changes into past perfect, right? Simple future changes into past future. Future continuous changes into past future continuous, right? Then past continuous changes into past perfect. Past perfect to past perfect. No change. For example, Noreen said, I had already eaten. Noreen said that she had already eaten. So had or had, it doesn't change. Now this is something to remember, that past perfect to past perfect. It doesn't change anything. Then we have past perfect continuous to past perfect or continuous. Whenever we are talking about past perfect, there has been uh, an indication of no change. For example, Sophia said, I have been cooking. Sophia said she had been cooking. So no change is there. Then present future ability or possibility can changes into could, and then may changes into might. Then the exercise has been given that you can solve yourself. If you find any difficulty, you can definitely ask me the relevant questions. The next point that is important to understand over here is reported or indirect question, right? So far, we talked about direct statement into indirect statements. Now, what happens when questions instead of statements have to be reported? Actually, the basic points about pronoun and tense usage given above apply equally well to reported questions. However, in reported questions that is absent, remember, in reported questions that is absent, various words such as WH words, what, why, who, when, whose, etc. are used. The typical question or interrogative word order changes to the normal word order, that is, the question becomes a statement. So, when you actually work with reported questions, remember these rules. Would words like did and the question mark disappears, right? Some questions do not have question words. While reporting these, whether or if is used in place of the word itself. Some examples have been given over here. What do you like doing in your free time? Now, this is a direct question. How would we make it an indirect reported question? He asked me what I liked doing in my free time, right? Here we had second person pronoun, however, here we have first person pronoun. So this is how pronoun changes as well. Are you going to the film tomorrow? She asked if or whether we were going to the film the next day. Tomorrow changes into next day. She asked, do you want to come with me? She asked me if I wanted to come with her. Me changes into her. So these are some changes that are going to occur when you report questions, right? Then they have given examples over here. You can solve them yourself and you can ask me any relevant questions that come to your mind. Furthermore, we have another topic at our hands, that is making inferences. Now, if you remember, in some of the classes we talked about skimming, scanning, reading techniques, how it is important to understand and develop comprehension in order to answer certain comprehension questions, right? So this is an extension of the similar kind of topic that has to do with making inferences. Now, what is an inference? Inference is a informed judgment in which you come to a conclusion in one way or another. That means that you read between the lines. Making inferences means reading in between the lines and making intelligent guesses as what is being said or written. Sometimes the information is not clearly stated. Writers sometimes tell us indirectly, then directly. They give us hints or clues that help us read between the lines. We need to use these clues to understand deeper meaning the writer is trying to say, and that is actually what the process is called inferring. Inferring means when we infer, we go beyond the surface details and we look at the meaning that are suggested or implied. Remember, we also talked about the skimming and scanning strategies in the previous things as well. Now look at this example. Murderers are usually incarcerated for longer periods of time than robbers. Here, probably you guys don't know the meaning of incarcerated, but if you try to look at these variables such as murderers and robbers, it tells us about something to do with prison time, jail time, interrogation, apprehension, or something like that. So we can come to a conclusion that incarcerated means that they are imprisoned, locked up in the jail, or just like that. If you have guessed that locked up in the jail, then your answer is correct. Similarly, another example is given over here. Now let's infer what does gregarious mean over here. Those who enjoy going to parties and inviting friends often to their homes for dinner are gregarious. So people who enjoy parties cannot be aloof, cannot be hostile, they are sociable people. So gregarious over here simply means sociable. Bunny is fearless, but his brother is timorous. Now, Bunny is fearless, but his brother is, there are two brothers. One is fearless, the other is timorous. So, if we look at the options that have been given, so if Bunny is fearless, then his brother is fearful. So, timorous means fearful. Similarly, the other two options can be analyzed yourself. Then another example of has been given over here. You can infer and make logical guesses about the meaning, and then later on you can take a look at the meaning itself. Please solve these exercises yourself and show them to me in the class so that if you make any mistake, I can correct them for you. Right? So again, if you remember, skimming and scanning, similar kind of exercises could be given for inferencing as well. For example, let's do this exercise number 16. Read the following longer text and choose the correct answer. Albert Einstein, a name connected to high intelligence, one of the greatest thinkers of all time, had a rather terrific brain. Einstein revolutionized the understanding of the physical universe and helped create a foundation for the nuclear age. His findings, especially his theory of relativity, have dramatically shown the power released in atomic explosions. With his great talent, he could have developed a big deal and considered himself to be better than the other, less intelligent people. But what gave Einstein his extraordinary thinking and analytic ability? Well, anatomical studies have shown that he did indeed possess a big brain, one larger than the average person. Recent research into the brains of about 100 normal people, along with that of Einstein, used measurements of various parts of the brains for comparative analysis. Although his brain did not differ in many respects from other brains, including weight, it did differ in one of the critical measurements. Amazingly, Einstein's brain differed dramatically in size. It was 15% wider than the other brains. The mystery of the genius had been solved, or had it? The researchers were quick to explain that although the size of Einstein's brain certainly contributed to his exceptional genius, there are many other factors in the development of intelligence. Inherited intelligence is a key factor, but equally important is a nurturing and stimulating environment. Now, this is the entire text, and of course, you might have come across Einstein. You know who is he, and you have read this information with me. Now, they have given certain questions in the end. The passage implies, suggests, or infers. The size of your head is definitely important in intelligence. Einstein considered himself to be better than other people. We have been in awe of Einstein's genius for years, right? So one of the answers is correct, and you can actually solve the exercise and show it to me in the classroom, right? Then again, there are four questions given over here, and then you're supposed to answer these. Similarly, then another exercise is given over here, right? How we infer and everything. Now consider the following statement. The officer admitted owning the gun that killed his wife. On the face of it, we have a simple statement about what someone has done. Our understanding or comprehension includes much that is presented to us. We find meaning embedded in the words and phrases. Of course, unpacking the meaning, we can see that senator was married and his wife is now dead. Although this is not actually stated as such, it is though the single sentence contains a number of assertion or interpretations. There is an officer, he owns a gun, he's married, his wife is dead, the gun caused her death. The officer admitted owning that gun. So these interpretations could be made out of just looking at this one particular statement. This is the process of inferencing, right? Inferences such as these are essential to both writing and written or spoken communication. Writers often only hint at what they mean and mean much more than they actually seem to say. A critical reader reads with an open mind, open to many possible interpretations. For example, consider the term ate, that is the second form of eat, in the following examples. The boy ate the apple in the pie. The acid ate the metal. The guilt ate into him. Now you see, all these sentences are grammatically correct, but what we infer out of it, that is the question, right? And this word, it actually plays a vital role into the meaning making process for each of the sentences, right? Each of the sentences have different meaning and context to offer. The first one says, the boy ate the apple and the pie. The boy took in solid food as nourishment. The second option is, the acid ate the metal. The acid caused to rust or disintegrate the metal. His guilt ate into him. The guilt produced worry or anxiety. So, this is what we have inferred. Now, the word is the same, but the inferences, the meaning, they have come to a different uh, standpoint, right? Now, if you have any questions, go ahead and ask, please.
Assalamu alaikum, miss. Assalamu alaikum.